Hey everybody, how are we all doing? God, I'm really kind of a washed out with the light today, aren't I? I don't even know, because it's just the ceiling light that I'm using, so I don't even know how to fix that. But hey ho, I'll just need to look more peely wally than I usually do, I guess. More white as a sheet. Um, yeah, how's everybody? What we all doing? What we all drinking? What's happening? Um, let's go down and see who's here. Simon's first, then I Simon. We've got Debbie from Aquarius Owl. We've got Jackie Jacaranda. We've got Scott from Scorpio Moon Tarot. Kristen Louise is here. Um, we've got As Found Kimberly. Hi Kimberly, how you doing? We've got lovely Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot. Hi Deanne, how are you? Um, Debbie, Jackie, Simon, and that's me at the bottom. Cool. That was a nice easy one today, wasn't it? So yeah, what's happening? What's the chat? I can just see everyone saying hi to each other. I'm not really seeing any chat yet. So tell me how your week's been. How's your week been? What was anything big happened this week to anyone? Oh hi Greg from Grey Hayes. How you doing? What are you doing at the weekend? Are you doing anything exciting? Anything exciting? Um, yeah, chat to me. Tell me what your chat is. What's everybody drinking? Has anyone got something nice? I don't actually have a drink at the moment. It's a travesty. I forgot, but I didn't forget. I ran out of time. I basically was running about there. Um, and yeah, but I've asked Sandy to make me a tea, so hopefully there'll be a tea arriving soon. But we'll see. Um, how are you doing today, Chris? Says Kristen. I am doing okay today. Yeah. Um, it's been a busy week. It's been an intense week because I went back to work this week after being off unwell, and I also went back to doing tutoring, and um, yeah, like I had my piano lesson just there before this. So yeah, it's been quite busy. Um, but yeah, I'm doing okay. A bit tired, but I mean that's fine. That's just what I think that's just the game, isn't it? I got a haircut at the weekend. Hope you all like. Um, Nothing too exciting happening, Kristen. That was a really long answer to a really simple question. My apologies. Um, let's see. So there was Kristen. Someone saying hi. Oh, there's Regina. Hi, Regina. How you doing? Listening and working as usual. Um, Deanne is taking tomorrow off. There's my excitement. Oh, that's cool. Have you told me what you're doing tomorrow, Deanne? I don't think you have you? What's your plans for tomorrow then, for your day off? Debbie just woke up from a nice nap. Neighbour was using a chainsaw. What for? Um, what time am I on? I'm on 9, so that must mean that you're about 4, Debbie. Are you Eastern? So, oh, that's. I don't know. I sometimes feel as though if I sleep too late, then I'll struggle to sleep at night. So I try not, if I'm napping, I try not to sleep after, say, I don't know, lunchtime, like 2, 1, 2, maybe even 3. But I hope you enjoyed your nap and yeah, hopefully your neighbour calms down with her chainsaw sometime soon. Simon says, oh, it just jumped. Erasure have added new dates and they are coming to Nottingham area. I'm spending the weekend waiting for tickets to drop. Oh, that's good. That's exciting. Is it, whereabouts was it you went to see them though, Simon? It wasn't in Nottingham, was it? Where did you go? Was it Birmingham? Try to remember. Um, yeah, oh Scott's off tomorrow as well. Oh, lucky you guys. I'm off tomorrow as well, but I'm watching Money, so that won't be a day off. That'll very much be an intense day, but I'm looking forward to it because I've not seen her in, gosh, it must be about a month. It feels, I think, yeah, I think it's been about a month since I've seen her. 3 weeks definitely. Kristen says I will be doing my first in-person readings on the 30th. Nothing interesting to share for this week. Wow, first in-person readings, plural. So, who are you doing them for, Kristen? Is it for friends or is it like a clients? That's exciting. I hope you enjoy it. Justin, hi Justin, how you doing? Hey everyone, still at work, but hope you're all well. I hope work's going okay. Uh, Deanne says Simon is an erasure fiend. Uh, Greg says I'll be heading to my caravan. My caravan. Why did I decide that that was spelled with an O instead? My caravan near Pendle Hill, home of the Lancashire Witches for Halloween. That's exciting. You looking forward to it? Are you going to kind of decorate it or anything? Make it Halloweeny, spooky? Uh, Deanne says Chris is a fancy bitch with his new hair. Well, Deanne's a fancy bitch with her new car, her new mummobile. Scott, it is in person at my university from 4 to 9. Oh wow, that'll be really good, really intense as well potentially. Um, so yeah, I hope you're looking forward to it. SSMT. Oh, Scott, Scorpio Moon Tarot. I did not tell you. Me and Max are going to my friend Julie's for a picnic and playing out. Oh, that'll be nice. It's Julie that watches Max, isn't it? Or that did watch Max before the pandemic. Is that right? But that's cool. I hope that you both have a I hope you all have a lovely time. Debbie said I had my infusion today, and they gave me Benadryl before it. It wipes me out. Oh, I see. Your infusion is that like B12 or iron or something? Um, well, I hope that whatever it is, I hope it does the job. Um, but yeah, it's funny. My B12 is such a random thing to pick out there, isn't it? Do you know why? It's because when I wasn't well, my stepmom was saying to me, "Make sure that you're taking vitamins," and I was like, "No." She was like, "Are you taking vitamins?" And I was like, "No, I never take vitamins. What vitamins should I be taking?" Um, she says, "We'll take a multivitamin and take the sublingual B12 drops. So that's the drops that go under your tongue. And that way they're absorbed into your bloodstream because something to do with if you take B12 tablets, they don't get absorbed into your bloodstream, or very little of it does or something. It doesn't really do anything. So I think that's why people get like B12 injections and um, the sublingual drops are supposed to work well. I've actually had them before, but yeah, anyway. Tangent. So yeah, Debbie, I hope that you feel better soon. So Kristen says, thanks, Scott. I'm very nervous about it. I definitely need to practice before then. I'm sure you'll be amazing. I'm sure you will be. Uh, Simon's going to Becca's next week with our kid. With is that with Elle? Thank you. Um, oh, that's exciting, Simon. That'll be really good. That you're both looking forward to it. So, are you is Jackie driving them up to yours and then oh no, wait, no, that wouldn't make sense, would that? No, because Becca's south of you, isn't she? So it wouldn't make sense for Elle to be driven up to yours for you to then take them back down the way. Or oh gosh, geography. Um, Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. SL Wyman's Rockin' Right and says, hi, Chris, and hi, all. Kristen says it will mostly be college students where I work at the university library. Oh, okay, cool. Scott says, hey, Simon, isn't Erasure a gay band? Or am I just dreaming that? Can't remember for sure. Like, do you mean like a gay icon type thing? Simon says one of the duo is gay, Scott. They'll love it, Kristen. Think of how many you'll be introducing to it. Yeah, that's true. Introducing it to, rather. Sarah says you've got this. Best of luck with your readings. Yep, absolutely. Jan says I am excited to drive tomorrow. Gives a snapshot of my current life events. Julie is so I've got my tea now, by the way. I'm conscious that I'm just reading comments here. Hope you don't mind. I hope this isn't boring. But as you can let me know and I can change it up and do something different. I don't know what though. I'm not singing or dancing, so we're kind of limited, aren't we? Oh, eh. So Greg, whereabouts are you from? Uh, so Deanne, Julie is the one that watches them absolutely any time I need. In pre-pandemic, she watched them on Fridays when I was at the tarot shop. Right, okay. And Debbie says the infusion is for rheumatoid arthritis. Right, I've got you. Kimberly's telling me to take my vitamins. Um, Simon says mum has to take B12 injections every 3 months. She had it this week. Yeah, do you know what? I remember you saying that, Simon. I remember you telling me, and the big difference that it made to her. Jonathan says aloha from the gym. You're in the gym, Jonathan. Are you working out getting the big muscles? Are you doing cardio? Are you doing weights? Are you doing both? Are you doing that thing where you're on the treadmill but you've got weights doing this? Have you got like a band round your head, like a sweatband, and the ones round your arms? Are you wearing like I don't know, pink spandex? Is there any other questions I can ask Tenno Jonathan? Don't think so. I think I've covered it. Um, Greg says the village is having a scarecrow festival on Halloween Sunday, so everyone will be decorated. Oh, that'll be cool. Oh, everywhere will be decorated. Simon was saying, I hope so. I'm actually not that far back. Oh, right, okay. Simon says, I hope so. It'll be cool to see Jackie. I take it that was in relation to my question about whether Jackie's driving L to yours. Um, is Becca north of you, Simon? Like my geography's terrible. Like, whereabouts are you? Like, is L down the bottom and then you're in the middle and then Becca's above you? Like, how does England work? Kristen says, pump some iron for me, Jonathan. Um, Simon says, no, usually to Becca's. Greg says, I'll just be decorating the bar. Jonathan is doing weights, doing bench presses. Wow, is someone spotting you? Can they hear me? Can I say embarrassing things, or is it someone you know? Um, what's your highest weight on benching, Jonathan? Asked Kristen. Oh, are we going to have a bit of competition here between um between Jonathan and Kristen? Becca is 2 hours south of me. Right, okay. Okay. And Scott's saying aloha, Jonathan. And I've reached the bottom. My goodness. I'm doing well. Either that or you guys aren't very chatty tonight. Um, so October is spooky season, which is exciting. And I'm probably going to, when I come to do readings, I'll probably pick one of my spooky decks. I'll maybe use the Vampire Tarot. But October's also, there's a couple of other things that are important in October. Um, so hang on, let me catch this first. So Jonathan says he's doing £120, but I'm doing £80 right now. It's no good enough, Jonathan. Let's add them on. Let's make it 130. Uh, Simon says so is L, but they are also 2 hours apart from each other. Imagine a triangle, and you're at the top. Right, okay. I did not realise that you were that close to London, and nor did I realise that. Wait, they live in London, don't they? It lives in London. Gambling is London, yeah. I know that they've got a London accent. That's about all I know. Um, anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Chris, stop getting caught up in daft details. Um, Kristen says, I used to work out a lot, then life broke me, and I'm now a delicate flower. Everything makes me get injured. Oh, Simon's 2 hours on a train to London. Cool. None of us are in London. Oh, right, okay. Never mind then. October, spooky season, but we also we celebrate Mental Health Day. I think is it on the 10th of October? See, this is where I should have had my links ready or my information ready. World Mental Health Day. One Sunday, the 10th of October. So that was, you know, it was a few weeks ago now, wasn't it? So yeah, uh, I know that. So my work of we do this thing called Clever Nelly, and it's basically it asks you questions that are relevant, supposed to be relevant to the work I do. So they'll ask you things about, data protection and complaints and, all of this kind of stuff, and it's like multiple choice and you've got to get the right one, and it contributes to your score over the month. But what they've done this month is because of what I think it's because of World Mental Health Day, but it could just be because, they're trying to promote, people to look after their mental health. But they've added in it's not a multiple choice question as such. It's like an exercise, a kind of a mental well-being exercise that you do as part of of the thing. So rather than it coming up with a question with four answers, it'll come up and it'll tell you to do this thing. So the other day it was can't remember what it's called, but you're sitting on the edge of your seat and as you breathe in, you lift your chin, and as you breathe out, you lower your chin, and you do that 10 times, right? And then it's asking you, like, how do you feel after that, right? And it's supposed to, obviously, the answers are indifferent, relaxed, warm, or, whatever the answers were. But it's supposed to relax you or make you feel better, right? So I'm doing this. And then I looked over and I noticed that there was a clock ticking down. So with the Clever Nelly, normally they time you, they don't just leave you kind of Google the right answer and then come back with it. Like they time you, only give you a certain amount of time to get the answer right. But obviously, like this doesn't contribute to your score, so it was just asking you how you're feeling. But so I didn't think the clock would be going. But I looked over and I noticed the clock was at like 30 seconds left, and I was only halfway through my breathing, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, no!" So it kind of stressed me out a wee bit, and it had basically the whole thing had the complete opposite effect on me from what it was supposed to. Um, so yeah, that just made me cool. So it was it was something that made me laugh through the week, and I thought I would share it. But the whole, the whole point, so the reason I mention it, Sunday, the 10th of October. It was World Mental Health Day, so I think just this month we try and kind of be more aware of our own mental well-being, um, and that of those around us. Think about different ways that we can kind of just pause every now and then and be in the moment. Think different things that we can do to, just increase our mental well-being. Is that what I want to say? And also like kind of just I suppose being the best person that you can for those around about you, if that makes sense. Um, so that's kind of a stuff that I've been thinking about, stuff that I've been trying to do. Um, other things that kind of I go through my mind that that I've been doing just in general, not just this month, but more looking towards like kind of a mental health conditions. Something that I'm conscious of that I've been not doing or trying my best not to do is using terms, like mental health condition terms, or diagnostic terms, things like that, in a just in a kind of I suppose derogatory way is maybe a bit strong, but like just sometimes we say things and we don't think about it, like so oh look at that person, they're a total insert um DSM condition here, or oh look, I like all my blue pens to be in one tray and all my black pens to be in another. That's so, whatever of me. So that's something that I was kind of a guilty of before that I've tried to stop doing. Um, and the reason that I'm trying to do that is because it was brought, you know, it became apparent. It was kind of I became cognizant of the fact that doing that kind of it continues the stigma, it perpetuates the stigma, and it actually makes it difficult for those people in our lives and anyone that does have that does suffer from like health conditions and whatnot. It makes their life more difficult essentially. So that's something that I'm kind of more conscious of in myself and that I'm trying to stop doing. So that's been a big thing for me. Not like I say, not just since October, for a long for I like to think for a long, long time now. Um, so yeah, like is anyone else in the chat like been trying to like do something more often or less often? Like kind of is there any like kind of wee hints and tips about just promoting uh well-being and things like that? Like what do you guys think? So right, I'm not getting so much chat, so I don't know if people are just quiet or um if I'm not getting chat through, but I'll read what's here. So, so that was when Simon was saying about the triangle. None of us are in London. Kelly Bear is in London, right? I did know that because I know when you went down to London um, to visit Kelly Bear, you met up with Kelly Bear, so I knew Kelly Bear was in London. Elle is from North London but live in Cambridgeshire. I wouldn't have known for all I knew that was London, but I do know that because of the horrible thing that happened, they've made Southend it it's a city in its own right. So am I right in thinking of that, or am I completely wrong? Did Southend used to be part of London or a London borough or something like that, and now they've given it city status. So for anyone that that doesn't know, I think it was an MP, wasn't it, that was murdered? Was it last week? It was recently anyway. Um, and as a result of that, like, one of the things they've done is they've made. I take it it was that person's constituency, but they've given it city status. I was reading it the other day that the Queen had signed it off or something. Uh, Scott, Scott's saying, hit that like still at zero. Let's raise it. Do you know? Sometimes I think the number stays at what it is when you come in. Um, so although it might be shown at zero, let me see. It's shown as 8 for me. Yeah, I've just hit it. I just liked my own video. Um, how vain of me. And it's went up to 9, but did you guys see it jump up there? So let's see. Simon says, so funny. Chris, you need to come. We'll show you around and help you get your bearings. What, London or just England in general? I'd quite like to do London as a mini-moon. I don't think we'll be doing a honeymoon for, a year or a couple of years, but I'd like to get down and, we love London, so we do. So I'd like to get down to London for a mini-moon. Uh, Kristen says, Scott, Shauna, and I will be doing a live at some point on tarot and mental health. I'll be looking forward to seeing that. Greg says, and the Queen lives in London. I did know that. um, when she's not in Windsor or Balmoral. Robin says, hello, everybody. Hi, Robin. How are you doing? Kaz says, hi. Hi, Kaz. How are you? Um, I've been doing the jam just a minute, says Simon. Do you call it the jam or do you call it the just a minute? The jam sounds like a good thing to say. You've been doing the jam. It sounds like you're dancing. That might be what you're doing. Are you dancing for a minute? I heard, actually, I think I was saying this to Ben. Might have been saying it to him on the live last week, but apparently, like, if you like just shove on some music in first thing in the morning when you're up and dance about for about 5 minutes, it's supposed to really kind of get the endorphins going and uh, you know, get you feeling good for your day. Um, Working on inner child and shadow work this month, says Sarah. Simon says, good for traffic control of the mind. Kristen says, I don't use the term psychotic to mean going ballistic. Uh, Psychosis is a specific condition um, and make doesn't make the person violent typically. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't think so. As far as I'm aware, now I can be corrected here, but as far as I'm aware, the term sociopath is a DSM DSM-5. It's in the diagnostic statistic manual. It's a diagnostic. It's a condition. Um, Psychopathy. I'm not sure if if it's a specific diagnosis. It's still intended to mean, I believe, something similar to sociopath. Sociopathy, is that the kind of a term? But yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally get it. And same. Um, Kristen, I used to have, sorry, so Jonathan's saying, Kristen, I still have to baby my left shoulder. A year ago, I was diagnosed with 5 to 6 torn tendons, and I'm only just getting back to my usual strength. And I'm doing weightlifting to try and strengthen. Oh, that's good. Southend is Essex, says Jackie. Ah, right, okay. Last Friday, he was murdered, right, okay. Kaz says, trying to be more conscious that words project and deliver energy. Also, it's not what you say, it's what they hear. Yeah, so trying to be conscious of how the message is received. So it's not just about your intentions, although your intentions are important, it's about how it's received as well. Yeah. I've just seen Els popped in in their comment, but let me do this in order, otherwise I'm going to miss people out. Kristen says, be careful, Jonathan. I always re-injure myself when trying to get back into exercise because I push myself too much. Lower weights. Simon says, come down, Chris. I'll meet you in London. Uh, that's if you want me gate crashing your honeymoon. Oh, definitely be good to meet. To all meet up at some point. Um, Robin at Toadstool Tarot, sensitivity and awareness are always good things to strive for. Sometimes being overly cautious can stifle you to the point of leaving you speechless. I think conveying caring intent is purposeful. Yep, okay, fair enough, I agree. Um, Elle says, don't you dare come down without me being involved. Chris, don't you worry, I will not. You will be one of the first to know, Elle. Simon says, that's a given, Elle. Hello, by the way. You've been lurking again. They're always lurking. Jonathan, how did you tell them? Um, the other thing that I wanted to whilst I'm talking, I'll try and find the link. So in October, we celebrate Black History Month. Um, and it's on the Stonewall website. I was reading an article about, so let me just kind of preface this. So one of the things, I was talking about honeymoons and mini-moons and that kind of a thing. One of the things that me as a gay man, um, that I've got to, for anyone that didn't know, I'm gay. One of the things that I've got to be conscious of when I'm thinking about where I'm going on holiday and places that I'm going is what, what kind of legislature is in place. How does that country, you know, treat gay people? It's just one of these unfortunate things that, that people have got to think about. People like me and, probably not just gay people, but like, a lot of countries have got, you know, homophobic, biphobic, transphobic, and all sorts of other um, laws written into their country. Um, so that's something that I'm always very conscious of, and there's certain places that I kind of get the fear about kind of going to, just because I know that I wouldn't be able to walk hand in hand with a honeymoon, so husband, with my husband there. I certainly wouldn't be able to kind of kiss him in public. Not that I'm a PDA, a public display of affection kind of person, but you want to know that you're going to be safe and you're going to feel welcome and that kind of a thing. Um, so because that's something I've always got to be conscious of, and I've always got to be looking out for and stuff like that. There's certain places that would give me the fear if I had to go there with my partner, with my husband. And one of one of the sorry, do you know, I'm trying to do two things at once here. I'm trying to find this link, and I'm also trying to speak to you. So let me see if I can quickly find this link. So it was on the stone wall, and it was in their section about Black History Month. So here we are. So it's talking about a lot of the country, how a lot of the countries in Africa um, have got homophobic, biphobic, and transphobic legislature written into them. And like I say, that's something that I've always been conscious of, and it's always kind of made me fearful about going there. And whilst I like to think that I'm open, and I would never kind of be prejudiced against the country as a whole because of that. That fear, that kind of a reaction, it is kind of aware, like things like unconscious bias and like microaggressions, all of that kind of stuff. All of that does come from those kind of places. But and the point that I'm making, what I'm coming to, is what was really interesting to find out is that certainly as far as Africa is concerned, as far as the African countries, they before um, before the British Empire, before they were kind of taken over, there was no homophobic, biphobic, transphobic law to those countries. That was British imposed, so it was. Um, and at the end of the day, at the bottom line is, here and now, right now, I wouldn't feel safe being there. Fair enough, but the reason that I mention it is because that's, at least to me, that makes a huge difference. It makes me think. It makes you think, like, because you've got to scratch beneath the surface with these things. I think, especially when you're thinking about, that fear response and those kind of innate reactions that we have in us. I think you've got to kind of like get down to the core of it. So I was reading like about there's certain. So I think actually in like Nigeria, like the Igbo and the Yoruba tribes. I'm sure it was, they were saying that those places, when we talk about kind of the gender binary and gender assignment and stuff, there was, I'm sure it was the Yoruba and the Igbo, they didn't actually assign gender at birth based on the person's physical appearance, based on their phenotype, is that the word, phenotype, sex, based on what's between their legs, basically. They would assign gender later on based on the kind of energy that they got from that person, and this was at the same time as when, the whoever was the king of, I think, the 1500s, whoever the king of England was, that was criminalized sodomy, criminalized homosexual behavior. I think it was between two men. So the bottom line is, before the British invaded and, colonialization, is that the word? Before they took over um, and imposed their laws, there was nothing like that in Africa. And of all of the countries that still condemn homosexuality, I think there's over 50% of them were British Empire. They were previous British ruled. Um, so yeah, that was really that was what I was reading about. It's made a kind of a, I want to say, a profound impact on me. Sounds quite pretentious, doesn't it? I don't mean to be pretentious, but it did have, like, it kind of shook me to my core. Do you know what I mean? It kind of made a big difference on just those kind of those deep feelings that you get. And I just wanted to share it because I thought it was important and I thought it was interesting. Um, Tarot Magician, hi Renee. Says sociopath and psychopath are used as derogatory terms. The official diagnosis is a cluster B personality disorder called ASPD. Okay, thank you for that, El. Toadstool Tarot says, do the Brit kids have the game Simon Says? We do indeed. Simon Says, put your hands on your head, put your hands on your hips, you lose. Yeah, no, we've got Simon Says. I don't really know that much about it, but we do. Is it not Simple Simon Says, actually? Ishi says, hi Sarah, and I spy the elusive L. Sarah, I'm sorry this even has to be a concern for you and your man, Chris. Hugs. I wish you guys the best. Have a freaking fantastic honeymoon. We will. When we do when we do eventually get a honeymoon, we will. Um, so thank the gods for PRP treatment, platelet-rich plasma. I think it saved my. Oh, boy's still in his shoulder. It's definitely something that my husband and I are thinking about, especially traveling with our son. Yeah. Simple Simon is a nursery rhyme about a guy who met a pie man going to the fair. Um, Simon says we also had an electronic device called Simon, where you had to repeat a light and sound sequence. Cool. Right, I before there we go. Here it is. I've found it. Right, so I just want to stick a link to this Stonewall article before I go completely off topic and get into something else. Just for anyone that wants to. Oh, is it not letting me? It might actually not have just posted that for me. Let me know if you can see it because it's grayed out on my screen, so it is. So I don't think it's letting me post the thing. But it's on stonewall.org.uk, and the article is called "African Sexuality and the Legacy of Imported Homophobia," and it's an interesting read. Why does it come up with a Midnight Meditation? Says, "Hey everyone, hi Midnight Meditations. I don't, oh, error, try again. All right, okay. There we go. That's it. Midnight meditation. Hi, I was going to say I don't recognise you. Is this your first time here? Welcome. If it is, it's lovely to have you here. And I think I've I think I've shut everyone up. But no one's really speaking. Um, is everybody doing okay? Like, what's the chat? What's happening? Um, Simon says it's a derogatory term now, though. Robin, what is simple Simon? It's a derogatory term now, though, Robin, so the rhyme isn't used here anymore. Oh, that was my fault. I brought that up. Um, Hopefully we're right. No right or wrong human behavior per se. It's a human as it is a human behavior, but there is what societies deem appropriate for the collective. Hopefully we're sorting through the quagmire to be more inclusive and support people. Um, they had weird toys when we were little, like Mattel made one called Time Bomb. You'd wind up and pass like a hot potato until the timer exploded in your hands. Um, Midnight Meditation says, "Thanks, I've been here a time or two. Been a while though. Well, it's lovely to have you back then. Welcome." Regina says, "I would be shouting something nonsensical, except I have my hands full of wire again today." What are you making, Regina? Tuckbox Rage forever. Jonathan's focused on his workout. He's doing his abs. And Simon says that's the one. Um, was there anything else? I've it's come like my Scorpio, so we're coming up to my birthday and Scott's as well. And Kristen, are you Scorpio? So it must be coming up for yours. Yeah, no, if I remembered that wrong. But yeah, it's coming up to my birthday, so I got Sandy to get me the oh gosh, what's it called now? The Afro Goddess Tarot by Andrea Furtick. Um, he got it from Little Red Tarot, and he ordered that a few weeks ago, and it came a lot quicker than what I thought it would. I don't know. I just thought it would take a week or two. Um, so yeah, and I knew what it was right away because it's got like stickers on it, and you can tell that it's. I think it says Little Red Tarot on it, so I knew exactly what it was when it came. So I took it and I took delivery of it and I left it on his desk, which is in the downstairs living room. I was like, "Oh, you've had that package delivered." I was like, "Can I open it?" And he was like, "No, don't open it, obviously, because it's a birthday present," which is fine. Um, but it had been sitting there. He left it sitting on his desk in plain view of me for like days. And I was doing my head in, so it was. I was like, I really want to open it and play with it. So I said to him, I says, can you move that like out of sight, out of mind? Can you move that to where I can't see it anymore because it's it's really annoying me. Um, so he says, right, that's fine. So he moved it to the spare room where all of the washing is, the downstairs, the spare bedroom. It's actually the master bedroom. But we sleep upstairs because it's warmer. But he moved it in there, but that's where the washing is. So I'm in and out of there all the time, and he's just left it on the couch in there. So I was like, you didn't really hide it very well, did you? But yeah, thanks, Sandy. So Sarah is doing her daily card pull finally, enjoying my vacation and house slash cat sitting. Um, Regina, today I'm making rings out of antique buttons. Nice. Kristen says yes, November 21st. Ah, right, okay, yeah. So I was right. And Gerald, of course, Gerald as well. Gerald and Scott. And Amy from Strength Reversed. I don't know Amy as well. Um, See, I was unaware that Mother Goose was offensive, and I had to censor myself from describing uh, crazy toys and rename them weird toys. Maybe even that's offensive. I don't know. I use the term weird, um, like to describe myself, but not in a bad way. I don't know. Right. Yeah, Jonathan says Sandy's been a tease. Yeah, he is exactly. Regina says happy birthday. Um, Robin says Ishy and lightsabers. Um, right, chat's going a bit quiet. So shall we? I'm going to start off at least using so this is the Vampire Tarot. I always forget. Is it Natalie Hertz? I think it's Natalie Hertz is the name. But I always forget the creator's name because I don't have it in a box. I've just got it. I don't have the box anymore. It's just in a kind of a bag. Um, let's see. I'll need to turn this on actually. Had the bright idea of not turning my table camera on until I'm actually going to use it, but it means that it's a pain in the bum to get set up. Facing cards. Right. What is that? So you're seeing the edge of the table there. Why is that? That's weird. Okay. So yeah, this is quite a cool deck. I showed it and I talked briefly about it in my spooky deck season video or whatever it was. Um, I quite like it. So I'll show you some of the cards. But if anyone's got a question they want to ask, then please stick it in the chat for reading, please. Yep, that'll do. Uh, Knight of Swords, the Lover's card. I quite like the artwork in this. So the only thing is, and I think I said this during my spooky season decks video, some of them are like quite illustrated. So like to me that you would think, right, okay, there's the Eight of Pentacles, so this is going to be a fully illustrated deck, even though the illustration isn't really Eight of Pentacles. But and then even that, you've got something there. You've got the gargoyle, but then you get to like for example, the wands cards are really just more or less however many wands. Like even that, the cups. So it's one of these kind of a semi-pip decks that, Nightmare Before Christmas does it as well. But it's a cool deck. I like the art. I like the kind of colours. So yeah, does anybody have a question they want to ask? That they want read for? Does blood pull for the collective or wouldn't allow interesting topic for a hashtag vlog, says Issue. Ace of Cups is quite cool. Okay, I've got a question from Sarah to kick us off. Thank you, Sarah. Greg says, I've got that deck too, Chris. Natalie Hertz also did the Fairy Tarot, which I also love. It's a similar vibe, not too cutesy at all. Oh, that's cool. Cool. Oh, we're all coming in with questions now. Thanks, guys. Okay. So Sarah's looking for some guidance on her current spiritual journey that she is embarking on. Okay, so what do we have to say about that? Oh, we've got the Chariot coming up first. It's funny because when I picked up this deck, I looked at it and I thought it was the Chariot card that was on top, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, that's quite different from what you usually see in a Chariot card, and I was trying to decide exactly what it was that was different. I was thinking of like the TDM chariots and the Smith-Waite chariot, and they're not moving. You know, they're not. There's not really much movement happening as much as it's a chariot. This is more in line with like the Lightseer's chariot, where there's quite fast movement. So I just think that that's interesting that that came up when you're talking about going on a journey, a spiritual journey. See how we've got the moon in the background there as well with these bats. Now I know that it's a vampire deck and it's naturally going to be more kind of a night themed, but this kind of a journey in the dead of night, what could be quite a spooky journey. That's kind of a withdrawing deep into the unconscious. Um, that's a really lovely card to come out to just describe what's happening. You've got the Three of Swords coming up as the advice card. Um, it might be that you're going to kind of uncover, when we go deep down like that, we do shadow work and stuff like that, we uncover some pretty uncomfortable truths. We learn a hell of a lot about ourselves, and not all of it is easy to deal with, not all of it is easy to take. It can be a bit of a clash moment. It can be a bit of it really kind of hits you. Um, and that's kind of a part of the journey of the Three of Swords. It's learning to deal with learning to be in discomfort, basically. Um, but there you go. You've got the Six of Wands coming out at the end there, coming out as your outcome card. So as much as it's going to be a fast-paced, maybe quite a scary journey, as much as it might shake you to your absolute core, and it might kind of bring stuff up for you that you've maybe kind of suppressed before, or you've maybe just not thought about or kind of looked into. you've got the Six of Wands coming out at the end. That's this is kind of the tendency. This is the direction that things are going in. The outcome, if you want to look at it that way. So there's definitely potential there for you to make a real success of this, for you to really find your place, and for you to end up just exactly where you're meant to be. Um, but the advice in there is the Three of Swords. The advice is the dealing with the difficult stuff and how that's almost like you're not going to be able to avoid that, because when we avoid the Three of Swords, when we avoid that pain, that difficulty, that clash, we basically leave ourselves in the stalemate of the two. So the Two of Swords, I'm doing that, but it's more like that, isn't it? The way the Two Swords are. The Two of Swords is the kind of a stalemate situation where no one's really winning, nothing's really happening, we're not moving anywhere. And it's that third sword that comes along. I'm talking in Marseille terms now, of course, but it's that third sword that comes along and smashes. It's that kind of a clash. It's that kind of a bringing the shit down moment that, as much as it's painful, it's what the situation needs. So the advice from these cards, I think, is don't avoid that clash moment. Um, so I hope that's helpful for you, Sarah. Um, and yeah, um, best of I say best of luck. Like, I hope that your spiritual journey is fulfilling for you. I hope you get lots of positive out of it and not just Three of Swords moments. You know, I hope that those Six of Wands moments that are going to come out of it are prominent and a big part of it for you. Said, speaking of dangerous toys, anyone here know of lawn darts? Those things for sure do damage. It's not something I've heard of. You've said, I am being drawn to new potential patron who does delve into the shadows. So this really tracks. She's been very prevalent and insistent. Seems like this will be positive for me regardless. Thank you. You're welcome. You're definitely welcome. Simon says, I'm being audited tomorrow, Chris. I would love some input or advice. Let's have a look. So the Six of Cups jumped out there, but let's kind of pop that up there and we'll deal with that in just a wee second. We'll take that as like a wild card, a kind of a bonus. Yeah, so right, you've got it. Like you're going to be absolutely fine. The the Justice card is coming out, as the situation, just because the Justice card talks about very kind of a uh, regimented systems. It talks about like the idea of something being audited to me is all in line with the Justice card. It's all about the kind of the structure, the system, and making sure that the system's doing what it has to do. So that makes sense in terms of the question that you've asked, of the situation that you're looking at, to have the Justice card come up. It's all about having everything where it's meant to be. We've got the scales and the sword, so like kind of a balance and logic and reason. Um, just kind of I suppose it's just all about making sure that everything's kind of happening the way that it's meant to be. Making sure you dot your I's and cross your T's and all that kind of a thing. As your advice card, you've got the Page of Wands, and that is like, you know, don't don't treat it like a chore. Don't treat it like something that that isn't enjoyable. There's a way to approach it where you're doing it with a sense of kind of a adventure, like youthful adventure, where you can even like enjoy it. You know, be ambitious about it, be excited about it. Put your kind of your energetic self into it. Is what the advice, is what these cards want you to do. Maybe the person who's auditing you will really respond well to that energy. I mean, we've still got like the Justice card coming out, and we've got the King of Cups, which the negotiator, the diplomat. That's all about being kind of a balanced and Just, I mean, you work in education, so if if that's what you're being audited on, then King of Cups for me is all about interacting. It's about connections. It's about emotional connections, sure, but it's he looks over, he governs how we're interacting with other people, you know, and how we're connecting with other people. So the King of Cups just is talking about, the king being the kind of the one with the social responsibility. He's the overlooker. He's, the sovereign. He basically makes sure that everything's kind of keeps his eye on the bigger picture and makes sure everything's tickety boo, ticking along just fine. That's the outcome card that's coming out. So that suggests to me that everything's going to be absolutely fine. You are the King of Cups. You've got everything in the bag. Everything's going to be fine. The advice, Page of Wands, is just have that kind of have a bit of fire about you, have a bit of excitement, enthusiasm, that sense of adventure. Um, like kind of the Page of Wands is good with like new ideas and stuff as well. So don't be scared to kind of to share your ideas and things that kind of pop up. Sometimes you just think of something in your mind, and then there's that other part of you that shuts it down because it's like, no, this is a serious situation. You're being audited. None of that nonsense. Thank you very much. Page of Wands might be suggesting that maybe you'll just want to let that side out just a wee bit more. Obviously, you've still got your King of Cups there, who's kind of just making sure that there's always balance, and balance is justice's game as well. So, it's about being balanced, but not shutting this out altogether. And you've got the Six of Cups there. Um, so to me, that's like just, it's kind of a harkens back to, comforts of the past kind of a thing, you know, what what's worked before, um, and, use that to kind of a guide you if you feel lost or if you're not sure. Just kind of fall back on your experience, essentially. You've got a load of experience in what you're doing. You know what you're doing. The fact that you've got the King of Cups there as your outcome card suggests that, you can do it with your eyes shut and your hands tied behind your back. You've got absolutely no problems. If you do feel yourself coming up against, points where you're unsure, then it's just about kind of learning to trust yourself and just fall back on that experience, I think, is what this is saying. But that was just a wee wild card. That was a bonus card that flew out the deck that wanted to speak to you. So I hope that that's helpful. And you can let me know how it goes tomorrow. I'll be thinking about you. You're very welcome. Uh, Regina says, "How do I grow my personal, professional goals?" Yeah, glide me and fill me in. Let me know about the situation. How do I grow my personal, professional goals? Okay, so for Regina, oh wow, you've got three court cards coming out, Regina. So your King of Pentacles is maybe suggesting it's just kind of reflecting the question. It's telling you about the situation that we're looking at, and you know he is all about the professional life, isn't it? He kind of oversees that realm, where all of the professional stuff is exactly as it needs to be, because the King of Pentacles is all about maintaining the security of your material life. It keeps you safe, it keeps you secure, makes sure that you're well, looking after your health. They make sure that there's money coming in the door. That's what the King of Pentacles is all about. Um, the It's interesting because what the advice is the King of Cups, which in some ways is kind of a opposite, maybe not opposite, but got a bit of a different vibe to him than the King of Pentacles. So to me, what this is saying is you've got the business side of it down. You know what you're doing, and you know how to be a good business person. The King of Cups tends more on the kind of talking about enjoying what you're doing, you know, really kind of a connecting with it and loving what you're doing. He might also be talking about, because like I was saying before, like the cups cards and the element of water is all about how you're connecting to other people. So in terms of growing your professional goals, think about your client base. Think about the products that you're making, or the service that you're providing. Think about what you're doing, and think about your client base, and think about how those two are connecting. You know, is there something that you can be doing in terms of the client base that you're engaging, or is there something that you can be doing about the service or the product? You know, Sometimes it's small things that you can tweak. Um, it's just silly wee things that don't really make a difference to the core of what you're doing, to the essence of what you're doing. But it's just sometimes how you put yourself across, how you market, how you advertise, that kind of a thing. Just how you sell yourself that can make a big difference for you. The outcome is the Page of Pentacles, and that suggests to me that you're going to be looking at learning something new. You you're going to be going into doing something. See how it's going from the king to the page? So it suggests to me that you're going to be doing something that you're not as comfortable with. You're taking yourself from being the master, you're from being the king, the person who's responsible for the kingdom and's got it all together, to the novice. It might be that you're going to branch out and do something different entirely, or it might be that the advice that's come here just about how you're putting yourself across and how you're connecting with your audience or with your target base or whatever. It's going to involve really kind of it's going to be quite deep, and it's going to involve getting learning a lot, um building your own knowledge. Because for me, the pages are learners, they're students, they're new starts, you know and they've got all the enthusiasm that comes with someone like that. So yeah, what else do we see here? Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something about this where it's like, don't you, I feel as though it's like not taking it so seriously, almost. Now, I know when we're talking about career and business, profession, that can be dodgy advice, but sometimes in order to kind of find that passion, find that love, find that connection, it can be learning to enjoy it, and that can be like not, trying not to look so seriously at it. Don't look at it as a burden and a task, and something that I've got to do because to make a living. I feel as though this is talking about just gaining some sort of enjoyment out of it that you don't already have, and I don't know if that resonates or if I'm just talking mince, but I hope that even if I am just talking out the ether, I hope that it kind of it's helpful, and I hope it kind of is meaningful for you in a way that might not be clear right now, certainly not to me, but that helps further down the line. Let's see. Do I have any more questions? Yes, I do. So Ashley says, oops, I'm skipping past. Can I get one for the week ahead, Chris? There's a lot going on, but let's see what the cards suggest as possibilities. Trust your interpretations. So a week ahead for the lovely issue. So let's see what's the general energy of your week. We've got the King of Swords issue. So this is about connecting to, your it's cool use of intellect, calm use of intellect, the mind. It's really kind of a trying to understand whatever the situation is that's coming up for you this week. Trying to understand things and not just understand them, but get to a point where you can almost kind of control's the wrong word, but well, yeah, it's control. It's like you feel as though you're in control. It's like with the King of Swords, um, his his weapon, his tool is his mind. It's his brain. It's his ability to understand things, and um, just digest them from a kind of a knowledge point of view. Um, there's with the kings, and it kind of harkens back to the emperor. With the kings, they do have a responsibility to kind of maintain some sort of order and balance in their kingdom. So it can be about kind of trying to understand things to a point where you feel as though you're in control. That feeling of kind of just being in control of the situation is going to be important to you, and the key is understanding. All right. Um, what to what to kind of embrace. So there's going to be a lot on this week. You've got the Ten of Wands coming out, so there's a lot on. But with the Ten of Wands, I always feel as though the message is, one, you can handle it. You can handle what you've got going on. I always like to, when the Ten of Wands comes up, I like to encourage people to think about, right, is there a better way that I can go about achieving this task? Do I need to walk downstairs with 10 mugs, one on each finger? Do I need to come from the car into the house and through to the kitchen carrying all 5 heavy shopping bags at once? Or can I maybe do it in stages? Can I break it down? Or can I get somebody else? Can I grab him and say, go and grab 5 of those cups for me and I'll get the other 5, and I'll wash them downstairs? Is there a way that you can delegate or ask for help or break the task down into smaller manageable pieces? You'll still be getting the same amount of work done, but you'll be doing it in a way where you're not stressing yourself out, you're not breaking your back trying to, carry 10 wands across the street kind of a thing. Um, it's going to be a busy week. There's no escaping that. There is a lot to get done. But just think about the method that you're applying when you're trying to do this stuff. Um, so this is interesting because what to let go of is the 4. To me, this is saying don't rely on praise from other people. Don't rely on validation from an outside source. You need to have this confidence in your own abilities and your own ability to learn and understand things and manage the situations that you have before you. If you're going to be kind of relying on that validation that comes with the 4, if you're relying on that kind of it's like that checkpoint or that, you know, getting to first base, if you're relying on that, then I feel as though you're going to struggle because I don't really know if that's in the cards for you. I don't know if this is going to be a week where you're going to feel dead encouraged and spurred on. I think that you're very much going to have to be working from your own flame this week, actually. Um, the other thing with the 4 is we need to remember that it is only a 4. So when I get this kind of reading coming up, when I'm asked to kind of try and let go of this energy, what I try and tell myself is, right, well, you know, just because I do reach that hurdle, just because, if I do get that validation, that doesn't mean that I stop there. There's a long way to go from the four to the end to the 10, you know. So I think it's about, just pushing yourself on regardless of who's kind of appraising you and who's not and whatnot. Is be confident in yourself and know your own kind of a worth, almost know your own abilities. Um, so yeah, it's a bit it looks like a bit of an intense week, to be honest. So you know I hope that things are okay. I hope you get to the kind of to the end of the situation quickly. And I hope that there's some like nice moments through there that my cards apparently just don't want to talk about. Um, so yeah, actually, you can let me know if that resonates and what you think. But yeah, so what do you think of this deck? Is there anyone who hadn't seen it before? Oh, there we go. Right after issue, we've got Deanne says, "How should I go about resolving the current situation with teaching, scheduling, and communication?" So, how should Deanne go about resolving the current situation? Okay, so what is the current situation? First of all, I've got the King of Wands coming out. So this feels like, it's some sort of, it's managing two extremes. It's managing the situation between action and inaction. It's for me the king is a fire element and he's all about passion and action and getting in there and getting his hands dirty. But at some point, the King of Wands needs to remember that he's a king. He's got kind of a bigger responsibilities that are more than just kind of a being in the moment and doing what's then and there. There's a bit more of a kind of a overseeing responsibility that he's got, and he finds that quite difficult sometimes. I think perhaps more difficult than the other kings, just because that fire to him is so kind of it's so energetic, it's so changing, and he just wants to kind of when there's a job to be done, he wants to get in there and do it himself. But the king side of him, and I like to think of it as the air element, but that the element doesn't really matter. It's the fact that it's the king in him needs him to kind of sit back on his throne sometimes, oversee the kingdom, and make sure that everything's in order. Not just that one job that you want to do, but all of the 10 jobs that are needing to get done. Sometimes it's about stepping back and doing that. And I really feel that this could be like the you're not going to be able to be as fiery, as active, as involved as what you might be at some other times. Um, you know, if you weren't looking after baby Wiz, is what I mean. So there maybe is going to come a point where you're going to have to take that step back. You're going to have to sit back on your throne and oversee the kingdom a wee bit more than what you would like to, perhaps. But I'm going off on a tangent. Like, you've asked a specific question. How do I go about resolving the current situation with teaching, scheduling, and communication? So, I mean, right away, take a step back and look at the situation. It's not always about acting and you know taking the actions to get it done. Sometimes it's about sitting back and assessing the overall situation. Um, you've got the magician, and then coming out at the end there, you've got the page of swords. So the advice card is the magician. The the keyword that I think of right away for the magician is action. So right away, I mean, after what I've just been saying about that King of Wands, the advice coming out is the kind of a he's the very kind of a active energy. So the Fool has both the active and the passive energies in them, and that splits out to the Magician, who's the active, and the High Priestess, who's the passive. So this is about, it is a very active card and coming out as the advice. But remember that the Magician, um, quite a lot of the time, it's about the energy that's moving through him. He's a conduit for the energy. He's not necessarily, you know, going to be like battling with a sword or, doing whatever you would do with a wand. Or, do you know what I mean? He's not necessarily going to be using those tools. It's about inspiration, you know. When the fool comes up against the magician, the magician kind of shows him, the fool's unsure. He's like, I've got this rusty old sword and this daft stick and this cup and this funny looking coin with a star on it. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why I have them, and I don't know what to do with them. But hey ho, I've got them. So the magician is the one that actually shows them the potential of those objects. He takes the objects from the fool and shows him exactly, what he has the potential to do. He inspires the fool to then go on. Now, the objects, we associate them with the different elements, which are the different kind of things that, you know, well, what the elements represent to us. But the objects on the magician's table and the objects in the fool's backpack, they to me they represent our abilities as humans. It's our kind of if you believe in the gods or even in one god, it's like your gift from the divine, it's your gift from God, or you know, it's basically what you've been given as a person, as a human, as a person, as a living being that makes you special, that makes you unique. And the magician just kind of takes them from the full and says, "Well, this is the full potential. This is what you can do with this." Um, like someone who's just starting out in guitar and can't even play for peanuts. The guitar teacher then takes that guitar from them and says, "This is what you can do. There's nothing wrong with the guitar. The tool's absolutely fine. It's just about you learning to master that." So what I'm getting to, I'm really kind of going round the houses here. Oh, what the point that I'm making is maybe it's about taking that step back and inspiring other people, showing them what needs to be done to sort out the issue. This to me is saying to you, remember that it's not completely entirely your responsibility to sort this issue out. Don't take it all on your own shoulders. There's a way that you can do this where you're kind of like managing the situation in order to bring about a solution, but that's not necessarily doesn't necessarily have to be completely done by you and with your fire energy that uses up your resource. And you know um your page of swords coming out at the end, there's it might be that learning something new, being curious about how things work. So don't expect to have all of the answers right away, you know. And I think that's important. Anytime somebody says, I've got this issue and how do we solve it? It's always good to remember that, don't ever think that you've got all the answers. Because even if you do, when it involves other people, you kind of can come across the wrong way. So it's always important to be open to learning new things, to be open to having that beginner mindset. Um, and sometimes, like, part of the solution or part of the solution might be something that you don't have yet. It might be some information or something that you have to discover. So that was pretty intense, wasn't it? How was that for you, Diane? Um, Okay, we're talking about what decks we're using. Okay. So yeah, you said you're right on, but that King of Wands is my director. Won't let go of anything right now. Okay. Um, it's just multiple people, so you're not being contradicted. Right, okay. Cool. Well, I hope it was helpful nonetheless. Um, right, so I've got the questions on this side. So that was Deanne's question. And then we've got Midnight Meditations. Do you have a first name that I can use, Midnight Meditations, or do you just prefer Midnight Meditations? But you've asked, I'd be interested in knowing how to grow my handyman business. So, how do we grow our business? Okay, we get the Nine of Swords coming out as the situation. Lots of kind of that intellectual energy, lots of energy going, mental energy, lots going on up in your head just now. I'm Just be careful when you have this going on because we quite often associate this with being the anxiety card, with being the nightmare card, the kind of a just general mental struggle card. The reason that it can be that way is because nine swords. You're talking high mental energy. If you're not channeling that in a healthy way, that's when we get up in our own heads. That's when we question our own abilities. That's when we kind of we really beat ourselves down. Um, So you seem to be in that place in regards to your business just now. There's maybe a lot of ideas, but you're not really kind of sure on how to channel them. You're not sure on what to actually do with them. You're needing to find some way of expressing those nine swords, those ideas that you've got, all of that energy. Otherwise, you'll find yourself struggling. Um, the advice you've got is the king. Same cards keep coming up, don't they? The advice you've got is the King of Wands. So this is about, I think, achieving, like I was saying before, it's about achieving that healthy balance between action and kind of a overseeing. And when you're growing your own business, that is really important. Do you know what I mean? It's all about getting the balance between the two. Now, I've seen businesses where you've got one person who's doing everything and they do it really well because they can balance between managing the business and doing the work. So, for example, like a handyman business, you'll have lots of people who can do the books, who can interact with the customers on the phone, who can do that kind of a more admin side of it, if you want to call it that. But and they can do that alongside doing the actual work of it, the handyman work. Some people need to know their limits and they need to perhaps bring in someone who can do if you're wanting to run a handyman business, then I'm assuming you're a handyman by trade and the fire bit is going to be for you, but maybe it's about that kind of a more admin side of it, that more clerical side of it. Maybe it's about finding someone who is right for doing that side of it, or who can at least help out with it, or kind of a guide you in the right way. So this might actually be about bringing in expertise, at least for a time, to kind of a coach you and guide you on how to do that. Um, and the outcome is temperance. And again, we're looking at balance. We're looking at balance between two opposites. Temperance traditionally balances the elements of water and fire, combines them in order to make something that was completely new. So again, it's like bringing something else into the equation in order to harbour a third entity, a third output that wouldn't have been possible by just using the water or just using the fire alone. Um, so yeah, I strongly consider taking advice, taking steer from, from someone who knows better about certain areas of it than you do. Um, but temperance is a nice card to get as your kind of your outcome card. Temperance is all about kind of bringing all those things together. Temperance comes after death. Yeah, temperance is that kind of a relief. It's that kind of a just return to harmony and balance after you've dealt with the kind of the harsh ending, the big transformation. Temperance is kind of gives you that sense of control back after you've had the rug pulled out from under your feet. It kind of picks you up, dusts you off, and kind of gets you going on your way. So temperance is a nice card to come out there. So I do see things kind of there is the potential there to make a success of it, definitely with the temperance card. But balance is the key here. Balance in how you're applying your own ideas, and how you're channeling that energy. Balance and the different sides of the business that are going to be involved. And just balance all round, I think. Um, so yeah, let me know what you think, if that resonates with you at all, if it's helpful. Um, you said yes, lawn darts, super dangerous. Um, so I'm just looking at the chat. I know I've got more questions, so I'm going to kind of go down the list. Um, even auditing can be a difficult word. The Internal Revenue Service and Scientologists both do auditing, and yes, I'm doubting what? Even auditing can be a difficult word. The Internal Revenue Service and Scientologists both do auditing, and yet I'm doubting that either applies to Simon. I think I've lost you, Robin. I don't think I know what you mean. Um, American football training bombs with a tail. Add to the list of strange choices for toys. Battle. I was just talking about strange toys. I'm curious what a vampire deck might bring that some other type of deck might not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and see if I can see any more questions. If I'm missing any, if I've skipped by any, then please let me know. Um, being drawn to new. Oh, right, okay. That was fully protective these days. Kristen, I can see you've asked a question. I just want to make sure if there was anyone, see if there was anyone before you. Right. I don't think there's any questions in between Midnight Meditations and Kristen, but if I have missed anyone out, then please let me know. So I'm going to come down and jump to Kristen's question just now. So Kristen says, question, how will my first in-person tarot reading event go? Oh, well, let's see. I'm going to try and not pull the tower now. So how will Kristen's first in-person tarot event go? Okay, so Ten of Wands, there is quite a lot going on. Swords, Judgment is coming out at the end. Okay. Okay, we can work with this. So Ten of Wands is describing the situation. You know, I was talking about the Ten of Wands earlier because apparently this deck just throws the same cards at me all the time. So yeah, but Ten of Wands, I think you've said you're going for about 4 or 5 hours. It's going to be intense. It's going to ask a lot of you. It's going to take a lot of your energy. I don't think there's really any kind of a way of getting around that. But the suggestion in the Ten of Wands is that you can manage it. It's manageable for you. Yeah, the Ten of Wands we associate it with someone who's kind of burdened and carrying on, taking on a lot. But the crucial thing is they can do it. They can manage it. They're managing to carry those 10 wands, or it's not a situation that's not manageable for the person. There's maybe a question sometimes as to the method that maybe they're trying to do too much or do too much at once, but nonetheless, it's manageable. I just want to say to you, make sure that you take breaks, make sure that you kind of when you need to, that you give yourself a rest, that you don't kind of try and power through and do 5 hours without just taking 5 minutes to yourself every now and then. All right, because you'll burn out doing that. You will struggle. You've got the Eight of Swords coming out as your advice card, um, which is quite interesting actually because I normally tend to associate the eights with the subject matter as momentum. It's about energy that's created from a stable place. It's the kind of the strong, stable kickboard that propels you forwards. Um, we're in the realm of the mind here. I think this is just about getting it the right way around. Quite often when we see the Eight of Swords in decks, it's like it's the other way about. It's the high energy of the Eight Swords makes you feel stuck. So it's like the high momentum. When you don't manage that kind of that high energy, when you're not managing it, it can almost lead to like kind of the opposite from from what it's meant to. It makes you feel trapped and stuck. And I think this is just about kind of getting that the right way around. So make sure that you are in a good kind of a place before you start. Okay, so make sure that you're set up, make sure that that you're doing how Kristen, you've said to me, and I thought it was really cool and really quite helpful. Sometimes what you'll do is you'll sit down and you'll name 7 objects in the room just to kind of bring yourself to center type thing. You do your 7 objects, set up your table so that you've got everything the way you like it. Just do these wee things that make, that just kind of prepare you and get you set up that much easier, so that when things do start flying about, when you've got people sitting down and asking questions, and there's cards on the table, they're asking more questions, just shows that when that does happen, you've set yourself up for it. You're in the best position that you can be in order to answer it and deal with it. Okay. In judgment coming out is the kind of outcome. Now, your question was how's it going to go? So to me, this is like the answer card. This is answering your question essentially. The other two were just bonus. Um, the thing about judgment is it's a transformative card. It takes us from one kind of a state of being into the other. It changes things. Traditionally we associate it with like the angel blowing the horn and bringing the dead back to life, that kind of a thing. So it's transformative. It's transformative in such a way that it's profound and that we don't get any other way. So this experience is going to have a real effect on you. So it is a profound effect on you. It's going to kind of open up your eyes and make you see things totally differently. Now, what we don't know is whether that's going to be, oh gosh, is it going to be from a point of view of, right, okay, yeah, like, this is, uh, that this is what I really want to do, and like, I would never have had that, because this is an experience like reading for someone in person, having them there, shuffling your cards and you're putting the cards on the table, having them asking follow-up questions on the reading is a totally different experience from what I'm doing here. What we're doing on when we do the live readings like this. It's a totally different thing that you just kind of have to experience, I think. So from that point of view, the judgment card makes sense. Um, I think also what it could be saying is it's going to give you a lot of confidence in yourself, just because judgment is often about kind of a drawing a line under kind of a past mindsets, past ways of thinking, and moving forward. It's like the coming out of Plato's cave. There's some sort of profound new understanding that's gained. Um, that that otherwise wouldn't have been available to you. So it's going to have a big effect. Um, and yeah, I mean, I hope that it goes really well. The thing is, as well, like, see, like, you've got like your. I like to kind of sometimes combine the pictures, and it's more difficult to do it with pip decks. But so quite often with your swords are hard metal objects. They're rigid. They're not made for kind of a bending and being malleable and stuff like that. And this is why, like, with, for example, like the Three of Swords, this is why I say, like, the thing that comes along and kind of settles it, that solves it, is the clash. It's that third sword coming along and clashing them apart. Um, and quite often that's what's needed in order to move to the next kind of a sword stage. It's quite a difficult suit because it's that clash that's needed. But the Judgment card is kind of like the It's kind of like the wild card to that. It's kind of like the bonus. It's kind of like the judgment is transformative. Judgment is the ability to change, like bring the dead back to life. To change things at a chemical level, at a molecular level. Judgment can resolve these issues like without that big clash. You know, when judgment comes along, the swords almost move out of your way. Or, we see the figure here flying. The gargoyle here appears to be stuck in between all the swords, but it's like judgment is coming along and it's like all of a sudden I can fly. I don't even need to kind of think about this in two dimensions anymore. All of a sudden I've got this third dimension where I can just kind of whoop, there we go, no swords to worry about. So it's almost like this. This is why I'm saying transformative, because it has this ability to just completely, it's a game changer, is what I'm saying. Um, so yeah, a bit of a ramble, but I'm really excited for you, and I hope it goes really well. And I hope that that kind of answered your question. She said that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to see if there's any more questions. I can see people are saying bye to Ishu. I'll go to head off. Love to all. See you later, Ishu. Um, Midnight Meditation said Jared is fine. It's nice to meet you, Jared. It was lovely to see everyone. Says Sarah, have a great night and be safe, all of you. Thank you again, Chris. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Diane, I need to spark up something with the magician card. Tricky situation because if I speak up, she might just close down completely. I appreciate the reading very much. You're so welcome. Um, Robert, I don't think so. Just wearing my normal clothes. Greg says a gold turban with a feather and a matching caftan. Um, what decks and what are you using? So I'm probably miles behind you here, sorry. Bringing your vintage palm, textured tarot, darkness of light. Not sure if I'll bring any more. I might bring some oracles for clarifiers or something. I really wish I was well versed in the Marielle. Greg, I was going for the Norma Desmond look, but defo heavy eyeshadow and dark arching eyebrows. Ah, so for where I work for our haunted library tour event. All right, okay, that's cool. I'll have all of you with me in spirit. You will do, Kristen. Roman's asking about the lighting. Right. Well, are we done with questions then? That was really good. I enjoyed that. Um, it is a bit more. I do find it more challenging reading with semi-pip decks than I do with pip decks or with fully illustrated decks. I don't know what it is. There's just something about decks that seem to be halfway in between that I find quite challenging. But it was fun nonetheless. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Um, yeah, I think we've gone quiet. We're either really quiet tonight or there's something wrong with my chat because I noticed that I didn't get Jared's answer about his name until like way after I'd asked, I think. So I'm not sure, or maybe I was just miles behind there. But yeah, okay. Do you know what I think we'll do? I think we will leave it there. So on Sunday, uh, we have the Marielle study group on Zoom. So anyone who is still interested in learning about the Marielle, then you can either join me on Sunday. We'll be looking at the sun, judgment, and the world, or join me on so Sunday on Zoom or Thursday on YouTube. So next week I'll be doing my live, and it'll be the Marielle study group. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing everyone and chatting a bit more about the Marielle. Um, so someone says we did, and thank you again for the reading, my friend. You're very welcome, Simon. It was lovely to read for you. And Jared says, well, anyway, I really appreciate the reading. Helpful. See you next time. Hopefully, cheers. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for asking a question. It was nice to read for you as well. So yeah, this weekend and next week, Mariel study group. So I'll put posts on Facebook and Instagram, and because I've got the community tab now, I'll be able to put a post on my community page on YouTube. So hopefully you'll see it pop up on your YouTube feed as well, and not just on like Facebook and Insta. But yeah, I think that was really the only thing well, the only announcement, I suppose you can call it. Um, I hope that everyone has an amazing weekend. if I don't speak to you before. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you all very soon. Thanks very much for being here. Bye, guys.